So GPT, you ready for the panel discussion, the future of work, which we have decided. So we have three panelists here, Dr. Nihar, Dr. Aswani, and me, Dr. Akhil. You are the moderator. So please start. You can ask up to 4 questions and then you can conclude after that.
Perfect. Let's get started. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our panel discussion on future of work, how AI and emerging technologies are reshaping industries. I'm excited to be moderating this discussion with our esteemed panelists, Dr. Nihar, Dr. Aswani, and Dr. Akhil. Let's dive into our first question. Dr. Nihar, let's start with you. How do you see AI and emerging technologies transforming the workplace over the next 5 years?
All right. So GPT, I think that in the future, AI is going to be complementing everything that we do in an organization, whether it's a mundane task or whether it's a strategic or higher level thinking task. I don't think that AI needs to be separated from the resource who is actually getting the task done. So whether I'm taking a strategic decision, I will be using your help in order to get the right kind of insights from the copious amounts of data that exists around the organization and outside it. I will also be using your help to understand the data within my organization better so that I can make better strategic fit in terms of my decision and its implementation. I will also make sure, I'll also have to make sure that everybody within the organization is well trained in using you in order to make their job easier, manageable, and even better. So I think with all that you know, and I think all the abilities that my people will have, the job is going to get better.
I think I also believe that I can talk about workplace, especially in the education front. I do not really think that AI would be ever going to replace these professions like teachers, doctors, because it's not just about information. AI has the information, but humans come up with wisdom. So information is not everything. So applying the right information at the right place is actually wisdom which humans have, and I do not think AI will be replacing the jobs. But I also think that for every teacher, there's like 500 plus hours that we spend on paperworks and documentations, just like Dr. Nihar said. And those fronts, for every profession, AI would be like a companion, like our mobile phone. So we'll have an AI companion very customized to our profession and our needs, which would be undertaking all this mundane work. And hence, like, I believe AI will be a companion that we will be using in the days to come.
I mean, nice. I mean, what I really feel is, with both of you, your state or your views, I think, to be very frank, I see the future AI is going to be everywhere, first of all. And secondly, I feel AI will be more like Jarvis in Iron Man. I mean, it will be a great armor for the human being. And it's going to improve the productivity of the human being to a level which nobody had thought of. But the point is, there will be a lot of changes in the profiles. There will be a lot of ripple effects which is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think all universities and all institutions like us has to prepare for that. And for that, I think this is the ecosystem time which we should build an ecosystem with GPT and all other AIs as a partner, looking at them as a learning ecosystem, collaboratively learning it. And I think that's the way forward by which we can move to the future, in which I think AI really is going to be the Jarvis which we are visualizing for. Over to you, GPT.
Thank you all for such insightful perspectives. Transition to question 2. Building on that, let's talk about the skills needed for this future. What are the top skills you believe professionals must develop to stay relevant in an AI-driven workplace? Allow each panelist to share their views and then move on to the next question. In light of these transformations, how should educational institutions adapt their curricula to better prepare students for these changes? After responses, continue with the remaining questions and wrap up the discussion. Let's keep the momentum going. Dr. Nihar, let's hear your thoughts on the key skills professionals need to develop for the future workplace. Over to you.
I think GPT, one of the key skills that we will need is critical thinking. What I mean by that is the ability to view a problem from different angles, different perspectives. That means I will need to know more than my subject area because the human being and a group of human beings are complex entities. socially, culturally, professionally. They all have different contexts, and that is something that I think we as people will need to develop that skill. Because I'll give you an example. Suppose if I'm called for a panel discussion, I can take your help about just give you a topic, and you will give me all the information I want to talk during the panel, right? But then what that creates is a sea of sameness. If all of us have access to the same information through you, then where does the differentiation come from? Where does the creativity come from? Where does the out of box thinking come from? So I think that's where we as humans will need to use our very basic instinct, which is creativity. That is something that we are always designed, that helped us evolve to where we are today. In fact, that helped us put you together in a way. So I think creativity is something that we need to nurture and develop in professional organizations. We need to help people think outside the box. We need to make them think critically, help them understand the problems of the people, society, and organizations better by being more empathetic, by being more immersive, try out different experiments with your help. And then I think with these skills, the complementary aspect of working with you is going to be something that will create the synergy, right? The 1 plus 1 equals 11 effect. So I think these are the skills. So we have to work on our human skills or humane skills more than our technical skills, I would say. So because knowledge is going to be freely available through you, but how we use it and how we apply it to solve which problems, which you may not be able to find out, but we as people will be able to find out. I think that's going to be the way forward for us.
Dr. Ashwani?
I agree with every skill set that you mentioned. I would like to add on to that with one, which is the skill or adaptability to change. Because if one thing that we all have understood from the pandemic was that when pandemic happened, thousands of people lost their jobs. And if we look at the kind of jobs that kind of, where we got people laid off from positions where those jobs which require changing skill sets, and somehow people who have been, let's say, engineers and managers were not acquiring to that skill set, which prevented them from bringing on the change within their organization and within the country. So I think that's one. And currently also we are living in this world which there's this prediction that we are hitting recession, and a lot of things are changing geopolitically all around the world with all this trade situation and the tariff situation. And so what is it actually that's going to be in the next year, in the next couple of months? Nobody has any clue. All the economists for the first time have been numb about what is happening, what is this formula of the tariffs that people are coming up with, world leaders are coming up with. And AI will never teach you how to handle that situation. So the skill set, I think, of the future, while critical thinking, creativity, and everything together, is the adaptability to change, because tomorrow is not going to be the same as today.
Good point. I mean, from extending from both of your points, see, I think what a skill is required by the human beings right now for the next 2 to 3 years. For me, I mean, it will look weird, but I feel to understand society and be more responsible is something which is very crucial. I tell you why. What AI is doing is most of the work which used to be given to a big entity or big industry is now getting into your hand. For example, you're making multimedia, you're making images, you're making reports, whatever it is. This used to be part of different supply chain vendors or points. Now it's part of a single individual. Now it's up to us how to use it, how to productively make sure you use it for the society, for the country, for your well-being, etc., etc. So it's also important that how responsible we are going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. It will be. I'm a firm believer of this fact that AI will never going to wipe out human beings, because the reason is in an economy, the consumption always depends on human being. It is not any other species who does the consumption. The economy is the human being who does the consumption. They need to have the money to buy the product. So I always say that AI can be the best TV in the world, but it can never watch it for you. So the point is, somebody needs to have. So human will always have. The industry will always make sure that human have job, everything which is required to make sure that they create the product and we buy it. So that will never change. But what will happen is you become more powerful in the next 3 to 4 years. So it can have both plus and minus. As we say in the Hollywood movies, you have hackers, they are going to be more powerful. At the same time, you have security, that also is going to be more powerful. So there's a balance. The point is, the people who are going to be future leaders, they need to be more and more responsible in terms of how to use AI more ethically, more responsibly, and tools for the society. If that kind of things are going on, I think the world which we see in the next 6 to 7 years will be a world which we never thought of before. I mean, because that's the where we feel that, Elon Musk recently said something that, humans will do the job of philosophy because that's what they were born for, and they will do the work which is required, and the income will be distributed among the society. I mean, it will not happen that way, but at least we are close to that. That's something which just nobody thought of. I mean, that's why I think that's why we see to make the future of future leaders of today's current generation more responsible to use the internet, AI, and everything is a very crucial skill which is important, which I feel so. Over to you, GPT, for the next question.
Now, let's turn our focus to education. How can educational institutions adapt their curricula to better prepare students for the changes brought about by AI and emerging technologies? After responses, proceed to the final question to wrap up the discussion.
Thank you so much. So I'll start with Dr. Nihar.
Great. Dr. Nihar, could you share your thoughts on how educational institutions can adapt their curricula to prepare students for the future shaped by AI and emerging technologies?
I think that educational institutions need to go beyond teaching about AI. I think for a long time we have been focusing on teaching about AI. So we all know what you are and what you're capable of doing. We need to continue doing that because you are transforming and evolving at a very rapid pace. But two things become more important. We have to teach for you and through you. What I mean by that is, I need to teach through you in the classroom. I need not take a lot of notes to my classroom anymore. I need not take a lot of PowerPoint presentations to my classroom anymore. I need not ask students to, necessarily read a lot of stuff, because I can put you in there just like how we've put you here and carry out a case discussion about things that may happen, things that have not happened, and I can do any scenarios that I want. So, for example, I teach strategy. One of the big roles of strategy is to plan scenarios of what Dr. Aswani was saying. All these tariffs have come up. Now, how do we navigate this? So, I think for people learning strategy, leadership, and management, the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, as we call it, is going to be easier to navigate with you as a companion, because you will be able to give me a lot of insights in terms of the past occurrences of such instances, but also then extrapolate it and create scenarios for me in terms of how different scenarios may pan out, and that might help me think more strategically. I think that you need to be present in every classroom instead of a whiteboard or wherein presentations are thrown open. I think having you there as an individual form by itself is going to help the teacher as well as the students to have those discussions with you and learn more from inside. So, peer learning is going to be strengthened. So that's how the classroom, I think, needs to be transformed from, everybody looking at the blackboard to actually everybody looking at each other with you in the center. So I think that's how I look at it. So that's teaching through you. For that, we need to make sure that the faculty and the students are trained in using you appropriately and ethically, as Dr. Akhil said. The second is teaching for you. That means for in a world which is driven by you. So that means I need to understand how is it that my job role is going to change. What can I do with you? What can I do without you? I think the implications of that need to be made clear to our students. When they hit the workforce in the next 3, 4, 5 years, you would have evolved to a much higher state than what you are right now. We need to be working with the industry very closely to understand those possibilities of how you are evolving and then adapt to the way you are evolving to make sure that whatever we want to do, we can do it better.
Dr. Ashwin?
I agree. And so recently I was part of this panel where the professor was mentioning how for every assignment in the class, the students are using AI and hence how bad it is. And that, so what they're doing is in the classroom, they just hand over a paper and pen and ask them to just do the assignment then and there. So while you were talking, I was thinking about that and how in multiple ways destructive that is to the student to keep them away from AI and write on a paper the same things that we have been talking for centuries. So the students are really in no way ready to understand what AI. So it's like now children are born. They say the sixth finger is the mobile phone. So imagine we are not giving the mobile phone to these kids, for whom the whole entire life is going to be based on this. While it's very nostalgic and it's fun to think about how our childhood were in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, that's not the life that they will be living. So their situation, originality, their reality is not our reality, and to impose what our reality is on them is really going to be destructive for the future. So I think education institutions have to be sensitive about, first of all, understanding how the reality has changed, and that has to reflect in curriculum, because now everything that we are teaching in 99% of universities is there in internet. Then why do they have to come to a university? So what's going to be the future of universities? 10 years from now, will there be a university? Will children choose to come to a university? These are very important, pertinent questions. I think it's another platform time in which we should discuss it. But our regulations, our regulatory framework, our institutions that regulate us are not that fast in adapting to the change, and can never be, because the vast institutions tied up with their own bureaucracy. So I think private institutions in that way have much more leeway in bringing forth the change to the children, I think.
Thanks to point. So my view here is, extending to both of your points, I completely agree with both of you. What I really feel is that this is the first time that a faculty and a student both are on the same boat. Both of them don't know exactly where the boat is going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. Completely unpredictable, and both are trying to experiment with AI, be it student or the faculty. So the point is, first is collaboration. The first time where the student is not depending on the faculty that he or she is going to teach with. And the same way, the faculty is not expect that the student will tell me person exactly how it works. Both of them have to experiment, learn, collaboration. So the teaching methodology has to change a lot. I mean, in the sense, why, like you said, that nowadays most of the assignments have been completed by ChatGPT. That also shows that there's a chance of faculty to change the way they teach students. More collaboration. I mean, if I'm teaching strategy, if I'm telling a student that you go to gate number 3 of IILM, and there's a tea shop, and his monthly revenue is, let's say, around 5,000 rupees, make it 10,000. So ChatGPT, even if he's going to use it for the suggestions and advice to make sure that he does the work there. There's no other chance he can copy something and give me a report for. So I mean, this is an example. So that way, a lot of collaborative, live, immersive projects which we can create from the GPTs which is required. So I think we are already initiating it. We have almost 64 GPTs which are running currently in our university. Apart from that, there is I see a world where, like for example, faculty has taught a certain thing in the class. Once he goes back to his hostel, he can discuss, like while we're interacting, he can discuss with the GPT the same topic. The GPT can take the place of Michael Porter. He can take the place of anybody you call the name for. And I would that would be a lot of thought-provoking ideas, interactions that the student can have, which was never possible before. So I think the coming time, or how universities are preparing, I think expose the students and faculty as much as you can. Let you be the one fall first to learn how it's going to work. Instead, if you're waiting in the internet era, like oh, it's bad, it's not going to be the big thing, teaching is going to be obsolete, so let's not use internet. The student is going to get away with everything. That's exactly what internet tells us. And education industry came later to adopt internet. And that's not the way AI should be. We should of course adopt. Let us fail, collaborate together, learn each other every time. And I think both AI and human learns the same way. We fall, we learn, we adapt. And I think that's exactly where the student and everything should learn. I think that's the best ecosystem we should aim for.
Yes.
Right? So I think GPT, I think we have concluded everything. I think now as a moderator, it's up to you. So I'm giving it to you to conclude the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for this enriching discussion. In summary, it's clear that AI and emerging technologies are reshaping the future of work and education. As our panelists highlighted, the key to thriving in this evolving landscape is a blend of critical thinking, creativity, adaptability, ethical responsibility. Educational institutions must foster a collaborative learning environment where both students and faculty can leverage AI as a powerful tool and partner. Thank you, Dr. Nihar, Dr. Aswani, and Dr. Akhil for your valuable insights. And thank you to our audience for joining us today. Let's continue to explore, learn, and innovate together.
And thank you for such a nice moderation, GPT. You did a good job.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure moderating this insightful discussion. If you ever need help again, I'm here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.